Hello, everyone on Facebook and YouTube. Fred Staub and Les Jackson here. We've got a full hour coming up of cruise control in just a couple of minutes. Going to have some great news, actually, about some electric vehicles that were revealed at the LA Auto Show. We're going to talk about Subaru and their very capable Solterra. And then this sounds a little science fiction-like. It's the EV9, but it is a vehicle from Kia, electric vehicle. They call it the electric Telluride. And then in something of a more production-ready version, I'm going to have an at-the-wheel review of the Ford Mach E, which I spent a week with. And, man, if you ever want to make new friends, Les, get yourself an electric vehicle.
Yep. I'm anxious to partake of the Mach E. I've sat in one.
Yeah. I like the 50s door poppers. There's no door handles. Well, there's these little tiny handles up front. But you push the button and it pops the door open. And very much like a Mercury, 50s Mercury or 49 Merc. That's been customized, and everything works off of a big tablet, which we'll tell you about. But literally, I also was the first time I took it to an Electrify America charger, and that was an experience and met a lot of interesting people. So I actually had good fun with it. So we'll have a full review of that coming up on Cruise Control. Stay tuned.
This is Cruise Control. Your on-air automotive magazine with co-hosts Fred Staub and Les Jackson. Everything you need to know about new and used cars. Industry news. We'll fix or repair your car on the air. Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel. Now, your ride is about to begin. Because you're on Cruise Control. Cruise Control. Cruise Control.
And yes, indeed. Hop in, fasten your belt. Welcome to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine.
Fasten your belt. I'm snugging it up.
Yes, your seat belt, of course.
Yeah.
And that was Fred Staub.
You don't want your pants to blow off with all the information.
And yes, because we're going to accelerate pretty hard. So you want to be sure that you're well cinched, I guess.
Cinch it up. It's time for cruise control.
Anyway, we have a bunch of stuff to talk about. Mainly, a lot of it has to do with the LA Auto Show, the biggest auto show in the country.
Mm-hmm.
It's going on right now.
Yeah. You know, it is interesting that you call it the biggest auto show in the country because I think it started out being a second-tier show, and it really moved up.
Yeah, it was just another city.
Yeah.
But it took over. It took over. Detroit used to be the show, but it has lost its polish, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, so many vehicle manufacturers aren't based in Detroit anymore.
I know. Well, we're going to talk about one that still is, and that is Ford. They have plans this week. Jim Farley, the CEO, talked about their big plans to sell electric vehicles. It's a huge number, and he's serious about it.
As many other companies are, and new electrics revealed this week by Kia and Fisker. And by the way, this is right now in the United States. You can buy 37 different makes and models of battery electric vehicles.
Yeah, it's amazing. We got a new one from Subaru, too, we'll tell you about. And we're also going to talk about this. If you're out buying a vehicle, non-negotiable, what manufacturers have the highest destination costs? Some of them stand out, and it's something to think about if you're buying a new vehicle, because this is getting pretty pricey.
It is, and I'm beginning to be a little bit cynical or suspicious about these prices.
Okay.
I'm trying to look into it right now, but I don't have any information yet. And we're talking tech, as we generally do. New headlights that won't blind other drivers. How many years have everybody been wishing for that?
Oh, yeah.
Well, they just got green lighted.
Yeah.
But they won't be green.
No, they won't be green. It's true. LED lights enable you, the driver, to see better, but it also blinds the oncoming traffic. So that's a problem. And then we're going to also have an at-the-wheel review of the Mustang Mach E. I had some great times driving this vehicle, met a lot of interesting people. So we'll talk about that and more when we come back on Cruise Control. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. You can get all those links at cruisecontrolradio.com. I'm Fred Staub. He is Les Jackson. We'll be right back.
Cruise Control.
Welcome back to Cruise Control. Big week in L.A. at the L.A. Auto Show. It's just getting underway. We'll talk about some of those reveals from Subaru and Kia and Mazda and Fisker, the Fisker Ocean. Les and I were just talking about that during the break. You think Elon Musk is feeling the pressure?
I think he is. And I think that's why he's acting even more eccentric these days.
Or it could just be he's acting eccentric.
If that's possible.
Yeah. Big news this week. Ford CEO Jim Farley was interviewed by the folks over at Automotive News. and they asked him about some of the numbers and his plans for electric vehicle sales for Ford, and he is projecting to produce 600,000 EVs per year, coming in second to Tesla. He says this will happen within 24 months. And right now, remember, they have 3 models, and they're all not out yet. They have the F-150 Lightning electric pickup, the Mustang Mach E, which is out and selling, and let's see a lot around, and the E-Transit van, which I believe we talked about a couple of weeks ago. They're all selling well, but he said one of the main things to getting these things out there is increased manufacturing capability. They're building Blue Oval City, which is going to be a big production area for building the Lightning. And then, of course, the Mustang Mach-E is built in Mexico. They're going to add another shift there.
Yep.
And the sales are gangbusters on the F-150 Lightning. He has 200,000 reservations, and Farley expects to turn 80% of them into orders. I guess we're going to see a lot more EV models from Ford because you have a pickup truck, a van, and a crossover. They're probably going to add some more crossovers in there, I would think.
Well, I agree. Can you not believe that there will be an electric Explorer?
Yeah, sure. I think so.
Probably something even bigger.
Yeah, I agree. And that's a big goal, but I think you look at the Lightning, people are super excited about the Lightning.
Absolutely.
Mustang Mach-E, I had a chance to drive it, and we're doing At the Wheel review. I think I told you I encountered someone that said they would never buy a Ford in the past, that they just wouldn't even consider it, and now they own a Mustang Mach-E. So that's pretty big when you hear that. I think it will hit the goal. I think there's just going to be so many more electrics, and I said during the opening, what do you think Elon Musk thinks about it? Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't care, but I think there's going to be a lot more choice out there, and some of them are very stylish, and I have to say I enjoyed the Mustang Mach-E. I thought it was a pretty stylish vehicle, and you basically think you're in a Mustang. They call it a Mustang. It is a Mustang, but when you're sitting behind the wheel, it's got the strakes in the hood and all that, and you could easily feel that you're in a Mustang. So I don't know. I think the floodgates are going to open. You said how many electric vehicles?
Well, there are 37 right now, and that's not counting the 2 we're going to talk about.
Yeah, they came
that
out.
have just been released. So that's right now. That's just battery electrics. I stopped counting hybrids. That's well over 100.
Yeah.
And I'm totally confident in 2 years there'll be 75 electrics.
Oh yeah, I think so. And this is a little look at what I had a chance to drive. I definitely think so. And frankly, I think virtually every vehicle will be electrified in 5 years, some kind of hybrid,
absolutely,
hybrid or plug-in hybrid. All right, well let's talk a little bit about some of the new vehicles. Let's start with Kia, and this is the EV9 concept. It looks strikingly like a Telluride, and it almost looks science fiction-y if you look at it, but funny thing is, years ago we would have said, oh, that will never be built, but this certainly will be built. And it is a concept. They had their EV6. Now they have their EV9. What do you think? They're going to go all electric, I think, by 2030, the Kia brand. And this is an exciting look. Exciting look on those wheels, certainly for a
vehicle. Considering it's their electric Telluride, which is a big SUV, those wheels are enormous.
Yeah. Hey, we'll talk more about this EV9 from Kia when we come back. Plus, the Solterra from the folks over at Subaru. We'll be right back. I'm Fred Staub. He's Les Jackson. Stay tuned.
We're talking about the Kia concept at the moment, but we all know that means they'll actually make it.
It's going to be the electric Telluride, let's face it.
That's right, the EV9.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it'll have different accents, and it'll have doorknobs.
Well, the vehicle I review does not have doorknobs.
Well, actually, I was just thinking of that before you said it. Maybe not. You don't seem to need them anymore.
Yeah.
And Kia is well on the way to electric everything.
Oh, yeah. They're moving along there with that.
Yeah. So this is cool. I predict 2023, they'll probably announce it as a 24.
Could be. It has a 27-inch ultra-wide display on the inside.
Ooh.
And it's inspired by water. So there you go. But let's talk about something that I think is out and available, or will be available a lot sooner. This is the Subaru Solterra. It's first all-electric SUV. Sort of looks like a Mustang Mach E got together with a Toyota RAV4, and they had a baby. That's what it kind of looks like to me. But this is all Subaru because it has all-wheel drive. It has an 8.3-inch ground clearance with Subaru X mode. On the inside, there's a 12.3-inch touchscreen multimedia system, and it has a EV range of more than 220 miles. Available with smartphone connected features like remote start, climate control, smart navigation, and remote locking and unlocking. It does kind of look like a Mach E in the front and a RAV4 in the back.
It has that same Mach E face. That's very interesting.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I think there was a little after-hours action here. So,
could be.
Solterra is created by the Latin words for sun and earth, and it will be good off-road, I'm sure. It has 215 horsepower from the front and rear electric motors, and it will give it great off-road capability. Yeah, I think this will be pretty good for them. I'm sure they'll come out with a higher range vehicle at some point.
Yep.
But 220 miles
sure.
is not bad at all, and it is wild to see this vehicle off-road and doing some light off-roading. But I think it will be a hit for them. What do you think?
I think for sure Subaru is well respected,
Mm-hmm.
and they have been taking their time developing an electric vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be dynamite.
Yeah, absolutely. Was this developed with Toyota? I believe it was, wasn't it?
Yes, I believe it was.
Yeah.
But interestingly, Toyota still doesn't offer any battery electric vehicles.
Well, they did show that BRZ4 whatever, which is the worst name for a vehicle. And there is going to be a RAV4, I believe, an electric RAV4 coming as well eventually. But Toyota has sort of taken the approach that they're not giving up on the internal combustion engine yet either. So,
especially when you're the world leader by many, many times over for hybrid vehicles.
Yeah, exactly. So, 2 electrics revealed at the LA Auto Show. Pretty exciting. And then we should also talk about Fisker, the Ocean. They have revealed what they call the production intent version of the Fisker Ocean. It will start at $37,499 in the sport trim level. That's before federal and state tax credits and incentives. The all-wheel drive Fisker Ocean Ultra will sell for $50,000. And then the all-wheel drive Fisker Ocean Extreme will sell for $68,999, including 22-inch slipstream wheels, Les Jackson.
Very, very impressive vehicle.
Now, this vehicle is going to be built, as many have in the past, at Magnus Steyr, who is a contract builder, vehicle builder, in a carbon-neutral factory in Graz, Austria. And it's got some interesting features, too. A California mode for almost a convertible-like SUV experience. A solar sky roof is available to extend the range. And it has the screen. This is kind of interesting. I believe Mitsubishi looked at this, too, but it is what they call the Revolve 1. It is a 17.1-inch screen that can be rotated on the dash. And I think it's sort of like a giant phone stuck to your dash, isn't it? So, interesting news from the folks at Fisker. We'll be getting them on at some point to talk about this vehicle. And they say it is a big competitor to the Tesla Model Y.
I think Tesla's just about stepping into the quicksand of competition.
Yeah. So it's,
and I don't think they're ready.
I don't think the products are super inspiring. I don't know. I see them compared to other vehicles that are coming out. I just don't get excited. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, same here.
I think their drivetrain is great, and I think what will happen is a lot of those will be turned into hot rods. The drivetrain.
Yeah,
There's one
that's
company
right.
that builds it and puts a regular transmission behind it to put it into vintage cars. So I think that you'll see a lot of that happening.
Yep, I think so.
Yeah. Here's an interesting story if you're buying a vehicle. You and I have been talking about this, that the destination fees, which used to be for the longest time, what, $800, $900, something like that, are now all, many of them are over 1,000, and some are reaching close to $2,000. And let's talk a little bit about this. Certain brands have very high destination charges. Now, this was research done by Kelley Blue Book, and they found that the average destination charge is rising rapidly. It increased by 12% from 2017 to 2021. Consumer Reports also found that destination charges for mainstream automakers increased from an average about $839 in 2011 to $1,244 in 2020. Now, some of that, of course, is the cost of doing business and fuel and all that, but a lot of other costs, I think, go in there. And out of all brands, Stellantis charges the highest destination fee on average. Les, their fees are for Jeeps, Rams, and Dodges require $1,573 for a destination fee.
Yeah, I don't know why that would be, because why would it be different from Ford and GM?
And the fee, if you have a 2022 Jeep Wagoneer or Grand Cherokee, will be $2,000. So they broke into the $2,000 destination fee.
Okay.
So now for just to give you a little background, for the Grand Cherokee, the destination fee in 2016 was $995. Now it's up to $1,495. We'll talk a little bit more about this when we come back, what's going on here. So stay tuned to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. We'll be right back.
Cruise Control.
Welcome back to Cruise Control. Les and Fred here. We were talking before the break about the, well, let's just use the word exorbitant destination fees that you have to pay for new vehicles. And they're blaming, the auto industry is blaming that supply chain issues and semiconductor chips. I don't know how that follows. Fuel costs, yes. Delivery drivers, yeah, but how does that add to the to the cost of delivery? Now, and by the way, as you know, Fred, I for many years have restored cars and shipped them around the country, and my friend Glenn and I just this spring shipped a Studebaker Avanti from Minnesota to here, Virginia, for $700.
That's about what the cost is.
And, it's one car, one individual. Now, if you then place an automotive factory that's shipping hundreds of thousands of vehicles all around the country, imagine the economies of scale that their buyers can establish.
Sure.
So if they were shipping 100,000 Studebaker Avantis right now, that charge would be like $250.
So you're saying it's just a place to park it for some profit, basically.
Exactly. So I'm saying that this has been a gradual way to add factory level profit over the years, and they've been getting away with it. And it's time for buyers to say, no, I'm not paying that. You need to bury that discount somewhere.
Well, you know what it is, too? It allows them to be flexible on their price. So you could say, well, my vehicle is $1,000 less. Yes, but you're paying $1,000 more for the destination. So you're paying the same. It's just how you're paying it or what column it's in. One more case in point, GM's average fee has increased by 21% from 2017 to 2021. That includes charges for smaller vehicles like the Chevy Trax and Buick Encore. That increased from $995 to $1,195. Actually, believe it or not, BMW's destination charge has been reduced on average.
Now, isn't that interesting?
Yes, it is.
They're shipping, other than the ones made in Spartanburg, South Carolina, they're shipping everything from Germany.
Right.
Which costs a whole lot more than jumping on a Conrail carrier across the U.S. I think you need to question this. And
I think it's used as a bumper. It's a bumper to slide the price around, and it can suddenly. I guess it hasn't gone down, but it could probably go down too if you say, "Ooh, well, we have to, hit that certain number." But the thing is, it's non-negotiable. It's in there, and a lot of times they quote prices without it, and then, oh, by the way, there's $2,000 more.
That's right. Plus destination and title fees. And then you go, oh, okay, that's no big deal. And then you find out you could have bought, a decent used car for the destination fee.
Yeah. So just something to keep in mind when you head out to the dealership. Another thing that we get a lot of mail into Cruise Control about is LED headlights. And why are they so annoying? They're great for seeing at night, but they blind you. They literally do. It's like somebody putting a flashlight in your eyes. Now, this is our Talking Tech segment for this hour. As part of the infrastructure bill that not only mandates driver interlocks for drunk drivers, they've also approved what's called adaptive headlights. And these are not just the kind that kind of track as you go around the corner. These are very sophisticated. I believe Mercedes and Audi has used this technology in Europe for a while. It basically just lights up the area of the light that you need to see something. It senses a
Right.
pedestrian, so it lights that area up. So this means the LED light will not be blazing away at full intensity all the time, but it will be more of a pinpoint, more of a precision light where it's needed, and it will be completely controlled all the time. It's like having the auto dim high beam system on all the time.
Right. Just more sophisticated.
Much more sophisticated. This was a prime example of this is the 2021 Mercedes-Benz S-Class. This technology, by the way, the S-Class has 84 LED modules, and it will control these modules as needed. It won't just blaze them away and burn a hole in your retina of the oncoming traffic. So I think this is great that this technology has been approved. It will probably be a couple of years before we see it on vehicles in the U.S. But the thing is, once it's approved, it already exists and has been used in Europe, so it's not like they need to develop anything, right?
Right.
So good news. Good news for drivers, and I think it's a real problem, especially at this time of year where it gets dark earlier, and it's definitely difficult with those LED lights. Wouldn't you agree?
I would agree, and this is something that drivers have been looking for forever.
Yes.
Is there a way that I can, squint through the oncoming? This is the age of microprocessors. You can do this.
Oh, and you're such a segue artist, Les, because let's talk about how Ford and GM have a plan to conquer the chip shortage, because if you're going to have adaptive lights, you're going to need more chips, aren't you? That's going to be chip heavy, yep. I would say. So they have Ford has signed a non-binding agreement with Global Foundries, a semiconductor manufacturer, that it would double its output, Global Foundries, by spending $6 billion on expansion. So I guess Ford means they're paying for some of this expansion, which means they will get to use it, right?
Well, yeah. This is the Global Foundries chip factory in Malta, New York, which is above Albany.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually been there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a huge plant with 4,000 workers, and they're building, a clone
mm-hmm.
of that. And it's well underway. They've been building it for quite a while.
Wow.
So this is terrific that, that Ford has given them an infusion of incentive, let's say. And in return, I'm sure they get first pick of the chips.
Yeah. And then GM is working with other suppliers, Qualcomm, ST Microelectronics, TSMC, Renesas Electronics Corp. They're building up this supply chain of chips, and a lot of it will be based in the U.S. because, let's face it, they have lost a lot of money. They have people looking for product, and they can't do it. They're shutting down things like the Cadillac Escalade line, or saying, hey, Silverado owners, you can't get heated seats. And they don't want to be doing that. And they can't keep doing it because, you can't turn people away. It's literally, once they're in the showroom and ready to buy, you have to have the product to sell them. Otherwise.
Yep. Yeah. Otherwise, they walk.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about another product. Following a trend, the folks over at Mazda revealed the new CX50. They hope this will double sales in America. It's not replacing the CX5, although this is a little bit bigger, a little bit more upscale. And yes, Les Jackson, they're going to sell a version that will be higher and have black wheels and look a little bit more off-road capable. And it will have more cargo capacity. It will be a little wider. and it will share the underpinnings of the CX30. You can't have enough crossovers in your lineup these days. Look, it's even got a little carrying rack on top. It's all about looking tough. It looks sort of like a Jeep Cherokee with a blacked out hood.
It does.
So enhanced all-wheel drive capabilities. I think it's something that active lifestylers could love, isn't it?
Active lifestyle.
Hey, when we come back, I'm going to have an at-the-wheel review of the Ford Mach E. So stay tuned to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. We'll be right back.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook. Go over to cruisecontrolradio.com. You can check the show out every Saturday at this time. So make sure that you tune in for Les and I. And we have an at-the-wheel review of this vehicle, the Mustang Mach E. Looking forward to getting into this vehicle. Ours was in this Grabber Blue. Grabber Blue, I actually had a car painted that. It was not a Ford, but it was a Chevy that I had painted in that color. This is a metallic version of it. Of course, this is an all-electric version vehicle, and it is a true Mustang. They call it, it's not a Mustang-like vehicle, they call it a Mustang Mach E. Got a lot of the driving cues, a lot of the styling cues, I should say, of the Mustang. Matter of fact, when you're in at the wheel, and you look out over the hood, it could be that you're in the regular Mustang. You see the little strakes in the hood, just the shape of the hood, the shape of the vehicle, it is all Mustang. Now, all-electric vehicle, 346 horsepower. This is the first edition, limited edition vehicle. 346 horsepower, all-wheel drive, 428 pound-feet of torque.
Wow.
270-mile electric range on this vehicle, which was plenty, actually. I charged it up once and used it all week long. On the inside, everything is driven off this big 15-inch plus screen. You can do different modes for driving, which include engage, whisper, and unbridled. Actually, they have some PR speak on the actual screen. Seamless drive, calm and quiet. And then, of course, the unbridled is for the active lifestyle person. Exhilarated drive, machine, and road align as one. There's also a small display over the steering wheel, which gives you speed. They even call it ground speed like they do in the regular Mustang. You change gears with the rotary gear changer, which is found across the lineup. Seats, they were not leather, but they call it Active X. They were sort of a synthetic leather. The interior, the room in the back was huge. Of course, you can put the seats down. Had a lot of storage area, a two-level floor to the storage space with a little bit more storage space underneath. No spare. There is an inflator, and the charger stores under there normally, too. It looks like a Mustang from the back. I think they've done a great take on this, the stylists.
Yeah, very, very in keeping.
The other neat thing is they have kept the styling of the coupe on the side. I'll call it that. It's a four-door vehicle, but it is coupe styled by having that little area over the roof that kind of comes up. So you get the roof line in the back is swoopy, but you get the headroom in the back. Of course, it's got the cool taillights that you would see on any Mustang. And I found the thing to be incredible on the road. The performance, man, intense. You hit the pedal in any one of those modes, and this thing is gone. It just takes off. It was great for changing lanes. It was great for pulling out to get ahead of traffic. The roof is all blacked out. You think it's all blacked out, but it's actually glass see-through. Up front, you get about 4.5 foot of storage. In the front, you can take that plastic piece out to get more room if you like, and you can actually fill it with ice and your favorite beverage. The roof is completely glass, but it's heavily tinted. Didn't have any problem with that on sunny days. There's no shade on it per se. I really enjoyed driving it, though. I had an interesting experience. I was at Electrify America's charging area, and I was sitting there getting a charge, and a guy walks up and says, "Oh, can I pull into that charger?" And I said, "Well, there's 3 others there. Why can't you use that?" He said, "Well, my vehicle needs to start its charging through Android Auto. I looked up. The guy was actually an engineer from BMW, and he had the new iX, which is not even out yet. That's their all-wheel drive SUV. So I got to check that out a little bit. At the same time, then a little bit later on, I should say, another Mach E owner came up. It's like a real,
That's great.
Group of enthusiasts, EV enthusiasts. The other story, I had a neighbor follow me into the development here. He got an ID4. He told me his story about how he gets discounted power, uses a little kind of like an easy pass type of thing on his vehicle. Con Ed, which is the electric provider here, knows where his car is and when he's using it. In return for that, if he charges, I think from 10 o'clock at night till 6 in the morning, he gets 10 cents a kilowatt hour charging rate, so he gets reduced charging rate. And he told me about his experience getting the charger installed. So it's kind of fun to be part of that group, and I was a part of that group for a week. Really not a lot of negative to say here. Some of the controls on the tablet were a little hard to use because there's no physical buttons. I think the build quality was great on the vehicle. This is a first edition model, so it was a little bit rarer. It had those red calipers, which I know you weren't a fan of. It comes with a level 1 charger. It's funny, I charged it overnight with the level 1 charger, and then I had the higher output charger from Electrify America. I got the same distance in an hour with that I did for overnight charging with just the wall plug. Really, really a good vehicle. Ford has hit it out of the park with this. They keep selling these things. They have, if you want more power, you can get the Mustang Mach E GT with 480 horsepower and 600 pound-feet of torque. But frankly, this model with 346 was great. 270-mile range. Interesting. I charged it up. It had a little less than that, maybe 210 on the meter. I brought it to the park to shoot this video, and the range went up as the battery heated up, I would imagine, because I just had it on accessory as I was shooting it to keep the displays active. So the range climbed up to around 240. So that's a kind of a moving target. Great to have the storage up front. The only thing you can access there is the washer fluid and then that storage. Let's talk price, shall we? Base price was $49,700. We had one optional package, which is the Equipment Group 301A, and the first edition package, which added $8,600. All in, with a destination of $1,100, $59,400, which was the total price for that. Of course, it's interesting that the guy that showed up with another Mach E at the charger showed me a picture of an orange Ford Mach E GT that he saw when he was picking up his vehicle at the dealership. He says this was for Chevy Chase, who apparently lives around here. But Chevy Chase, the Saturday Night Live and guy and actor, is a fan of electric vehicles and bought a Mach E, orange with cool wheels. It was the Mach E GT. So a really fun time, Les. Really experiencing this electric vehicle. It was easy to get in. The Ford Connect Pass app worked great. I could start the car remotely, open it remotely, find chargers. I think it's critical to read that because it's kind of hard to find the chargers, even when you pull into the parking lots where they're supposed to be. This one told me it's by the TJ Maxx and turn right, and that was really helpful because it's hard to find them. One of the chargers was not working, so some of the guys said that's a common thing, but the infrastructure needs to improve. But anyway, there's our review at the Mustang Mach E. We hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to check us out at cruisecontrolradio.com. Time for me to say I'm Fred Staub.
I'm Les Jackson.
We're going to see you down the road.
Bye.